Presented by Old Trapper. Jamie Manti, Isaac, Kyle Brandt, as opposed to Kyle Monangai, who got the second scepter of his career. Short career so far, many scepters ahead for the Bears running back. Kyle, are you just so bright and chipper this morning that you creatively used the word ramifications when talking about the Monday Night Football game last night? Or did that just come off the top of your head?
That's just entry-level batting practice stuff. A lot of syllables. Come on. I'm an English major, guys.
Do you have the highlights? Do you want to show us the ramifications of Falcons-Rams?
Well, there are some Rams in there, and there are some ifications as well. So let's go, guys. This game was so entertaining to watch, unless you were a Rams fan. Unexpected wild Monday night in December. All right, Matthew Stafford, they've already clinched a playoff berth. They're locked into a wild card spot. They cannot win their division. Down 7-0. No, Stafford's picked up. That's Jesse Bates III. He's going to house this thing, and we have history. I never thought I would say these words, but Matthew Stafford has tied Brett Favre for the most pick sixes in NFL history. I thought no one would ever catch Favre. And you know who will never catch this guy? Nobody on the field. Bijan's gone. Joe Buck, he was 80 yards away, Bijan, and Buck already called it. You never see those guys do it, and he was right. That is a casual 93-yard touchdown in which it looked like Bijan was jogging. What a talent. Third quarter now. Falcons 24-10, but wait a second. What a verse, what a bar. Jared Verse straight up signaling to the Falcons sideline mid-return. He blocked it, he recovered it, he housed it. Look at this play by number 8. What an effort. Is this the play of the year in a game that the Rams would lose? I don't know. Fourth quarter, under 3 minutes left. Here comes the comeback. Puka winning fantasy championships. Flexing with Devontae in street clothes, and the Rams are back. But the Falcons rally, and a dude named Zane has a 51-yarder that is center cut, no doubt. 21 seconds left, Mr. Blank. I think you have the win of the year for the Falcons. But Matthew Stafford had other ideas. Look at this throw to Tutu. Catch the ball, Tutu. Well, some might say he couldn't because he was getting blatantly interfered with. There was no call. It looks blatant there. It was a little harder in real time. But the Rams still aren't done. They also missed one on first down they could have completed. But watch the third down play. Puka! He catches it, right? It's the all-time catch. It's Julio Jones against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And yet, right there, the ball is coming loose, and you can't do that in 2025, 2026 adjacent and expect to catch. They say it was incomplete. By the letter of the law, it is incomplete. And so is the Rams season. They're now 11-5. They've lost 2 in a row. The Falcons are like, can we get in? And we're like, no. The Saints are like, can we get in? And we're like, no. But the Bucks and Panthers can, and there's huge ripple effects or ramifications based on what happened in this game afterwards. The two quarterbacks, actually the Rams quarterback and the Rams head coach who just lost on the road. Go ahead.
It boils down to execution every week, right? Either you do execute and, make the throws, or you don't. And, I didn't do that tonight, so hurt us. And, weren't able to overcome it.
I didn't think we played bad against Seattle. We had our chances. Tonight we didn't play very well. We gave ourselves a chance to get back at the, in that game in the second half. You tie it up, you come back from down 21, but it was too much to overcome. You give them credit, they made the plays, we didn't. This is a humbling league, and we got humbled tonight.
5 times they've been humbled this season, but the Rams' losses are crazy. If you remember, weird loss to the Eagles in Week 3, OT loss to the 49ers, and then a couple of 3-point losses in the second half of the season. The Rams are constantly right there, but where will they land in the NFC playoff picture? They lost to the Falcons last night. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers still technically lurking. They have to play the Panthers on Saturday. Guys, we still have juice to squeeze out of the lemon, which is the NFC playoff picture. But the Falcons came to play last night. They are now winners of 3 straight. We got to have a Raheem Morris conversation, but also what it means for this head coach. Lots to pick from this apple tree, Manti Te'o. I start with you on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, Sean McVay said they got humbled, and that's not the word that you want to be using this late in the season, especially when you're a team that's trying to look for a big push in the playoffs. But what it did look to me is it looked like a former defensive coordinator who was at the team for 3 years helped win a Super Bowl playing against his former team for the first time. I mean, the first half, they had 2 picks. One of them was a pick 6. They had a failed they had a 4th down stop on the second drive of the game. But for the Rams, what was alarming to me was a sloppy play. There were a lot of drop passes. There was an illegal formation where the left tackle, listen, the left tackle struggled a lot last night.
Yes.
He was in the backfield. He wasn't on the line of scrimmage. Matt Stafford was throwing the ball. He was kind of just forcing things down the middle of the field. This is not what you want if you're the Rams. You want to be ascending. When you look at the other teams in the NFC playoff picture, majority of them are ascending. And you don't want to be at cruise control. You don't want to be just chilling there. And you definitely don't want to be descending. And I think for the past 2 weeks, the LA Rams, that little thought starts to creep into your head like, man, what's this playoff picture going to look like, Isaac? Knowing what they did last week. They did play well against the Seahawks last week, but they didn't finish the game. And then to follow it up with this performance, I think that little thought of doubt starts to get in there if you are the LA Rams late into the season. That's definitely not what you want.
It's definitely not what you want. And you brought up the best point, man, Ty. Like, when you're sitting in these meetings and you're listening to your coach, they always talk about how December and January is where you want to peak. This Rams team is not peaking right now. In fact, if you look at them defensively, the first 12 weeks of the season, they were averaging 16 points allowed, which is great. Now they're averaging over 30 points, or right at 30 points allowed. Defensively, they're not playing where they need to play, and it's not where you want to be, because here's the deal. Last night, Bijan Robinson, he didn't have 219 rushing yards, but the Falcons had 219 rushing yards. That is awful. As a D lineman, and I played, you cannot give up over 200 rushing yards. That's a mark of a defense that is not where it needs to be. And look, Bijan Robinson is just one of the guys that they're going to play. You just mentioned a guy. Manungai?
Kyle Manungai.
We can't say like Kyle can, but that doesn't matter. McCaffrey, Saquon, like Josh Jacobs. Just keep going down the list. You got to figure out how to stop the run when it comes playoff time, because these teams in the NFC will run all over you. So when I think about where you want to be and what matters most at this point in the season, it's peaking and it's stopping the run, quite frankly. Kyle, do you just want to say Manungai real quick before you make your point?
I'm like a vocalist before a concert. Like, should have a scarf on. I should not be speaking more than a whisper, because I have to do Edgar Runs on the Roof in 20 degrees, and I'll be saying Manungai a lot and screaming it a lot. So I appreciate you, Isaac. But I'm going to conserve what I have left, and I'm going to use what I have left in this segment to talk about huge ramifications from that game. Bijan touchdowns are awesome and everything. That was really exciting to watch. A couple things happened last night. First of all, Matthew Stafford had a stinker. And I hate to say that, because Stafford's been great and they're going to the playoffs. But I think he has had sort of a firm grasp on the MVP. Like, we kind of crowned him. This was not a league MVP last night playing for the Rams. That grasp is tenuous at best, especially if you are a Drake May vocalist for the MVP, and he just did what he did, albeit against the Jets. But as you guys know, I have an MVP vote. I'm not going to disclose who I'm voting for, but I'm watching very, very closely, and this was not an MVP type night. More importantly, here's what's nuts. We were told, right, and we told the people that next Saturday we would have a de facto NFC South title game between the Panthers and the Buccaneers. That is no longer a straight-up title game because of what happened last night. The Falcons win to get them to 7-9 now leads us to this. The Panthers and the Buccaneers will play Saturday. If the Panthers win, they are the champs. However, if the Bucs win, they are not the champs. Remember, the game is Saturday. So if the Buccaneers win at home to beat the Panthers, they are not the champs until the next day, which they need the Falcons to lose to the Saints. So follow me here. If the Bucs win on Saturday and the Falcons lose to the Saints on Sunday, the Buccaneers are the champs. If the Buccaneers win on Saturday and the Falcons beat the Saints, the Panthers are the champs, despite having lost the day before. It's very, very strange and unwieldy. But the Buccaneers don't have a clean title shot on Saturday. They need to win and get help. The Panthers win and in. But also remind me now that Sunday's Saints versus Falcons game is huge. And it's not only huge for the playoff ramifications, both these teams are on fire. The Falcons have won 3 in a row with Kirk Cousins. The Saints have won 4 in a row with Tyler Shough, who's trying to rip Rookie of the Year. All kinds of stuff is going on here based on what the Falcons did last night that no one expected. So we're like, oh, Panthers, Bucs, title game Saturday. It is not. Panthers win, they're in. Bucs win, the Panthers still could win, even though losing Saturday. It's so fun. It's so messy, and we have the Falcons to thank for that.
There's like 20 hours between the kickoffs on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. The fact that we are going to watch this thing go down. Kyle, synonyms for ramifications that just don't fit as well on a day like today. Consequence, aftermath, and byproduct. But ramification suits us best, honestly. The NFC South, Kyle, you called it once a couple years ago, and it fits once again. It's the if you can haul it, you can have it division. Somebody's got to come up and take this thing. Kyle, real quick question about the Falcons. I'm going to put you on the spot right here. Ooh. All of a sudden, we're having a Falcons conversation. I heard this on a local pod this morning that I have to ask Kyle. If Kirk Cousins is the quarterback and Raheem Morris is the head coach of the Falcons in 2026, you game for that?
Oh man, do you know how weird the Falcons are?
So weird.
This is the strangest team. The Falcons lost to the Jets. Like that team that beat up the Rams last night lost to the 2025 Jets. You don't lose to the Jets in 2025. They also everything is so strange about it. They beat the Bills convincingly back in the day. Like they got hammered just a few weeks ago by Seattle. I have their whole season. Do you know this team lost 30-0 to the Panthers? Like, what is this team? Because sometimes they look like they could win the NFC title. They were shut out by not like the Panthers now. Like the September Panthers did this. They're such a weird team. I think Raheem is making a great run, and everybody seems to like Raheem as a person, so I'm happy for him. Kirk Cousins is a very interesting spot. Michael Penix is in a very interesting spot. Yeah. I personally would be very surprised if Cousins was starting week 1 for the Falcons. Yeah. But I still am convinced there's a way the Falcons get in the playoffs. Can we get the Falcons and the Saints in? I want both of them. I don't care about those other two.
We're officially filing the paperwork before year end to extend the amount of teams into the playoffs just so we can get the Falcons and the Saints in. Bijan Robinson was so